camera is on this thing. I think right over there. Anyway, welcome, folks. Thanks very much for joining us. We are just about to be live, I guess. I think it's doing the thing. All right. I'm going to try to mute myself. D, go for it. Do your stuff.
What's going on, everybody? Brainz! Welcome to the Saturday Takeover. This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You have to be 21, that's 21 in French, to be here. If not, you have to get out, or depending on your local laws, like in Canada, you have to be 19. Back to you, Fumi.
That's it. Cheers, D. So like the man said, folks, please be an adult. Please don't cause us any problems, and come here just basically to enjoy the show. I'm not going to pin the link because I just don't do that anymore. Basically, you have to ask nicely if you're welcome on the show. If you're a regular, you're welcome to come on here unless you hear something from me or something, right? But fuck, in the entire history of the show, I think I've had to disinvite only a couple people. Anyway. So you would know it if it happened. In the meantime, though, if you're new to the show, we'd certainly be interested in talking to you. We'd like to hear about your garden, if you have any questions or whatever else. But just ask in the chat, ask nicely. If you're not a well-known person in the chat, for example, if you're new to the show, if you've been lurking for a long time, that's fine too. Just ask nicely. That's all. D will be the ultimate boss tonight, of course, because he's going to be the host. But of course, other nights, whoever's the host or the mod or whatever on duty will be the judge. So anyway, just ask nicely throughout the evening. Probably D will post the link. Maybe if you'd like to hop on the show, just ask him, "Hey D, can I get the link to hop on?" And then just say who you are really briefly. Whatever D wants you to say. If he wants you to get a shrubbery or something, that's fine too.
You have to ask
Like
like a
that, D.
pirate.
That's right. I thought D was going to say, "We are the knights who say neem." Perhaps he's not a Monty Python guy. Anyway, ladies and germs, what was I going to say? Hop on. That's it. Basically, hop on, but ask nicely first. Remember, the show's for educational and entertainment purposes only. It should never be taken seriously under any circumstances whatsoever. Other than that, go visit my website, ladies and gentlemen, fumidoro.com. Fumativegold.com also redirects to the same place. I would wholeheartedly recommend Sour Morgana. That's one of my favorites right now. It's one of the ones I brought to here. I couldn't bring all that much, but I brought Sour Morgana and Cheetah Piss. Oh, I always forget to say Cheetah Piss. Anyway, what was I going to say? Black Knight's Delight is actually something that I really quite enjoy. I got to puff, unfortunately, only one of those so far. I really want to do a whole selection on them. That's basically my selected Black Prince Ruby out of a really good number of seeds and across to the Coot Special. The Coot Special is this very dominant breeding pair, but actually the Black Prince Ruby, sure enough, still shines through. You get that strawberry, you get that sweetness, and especially you get that high. So anyway, I'd really like to run through that again one of these days soon, and I think you guys should as well. Anyway, don't forget to use the coupon code BRAINZ, BRAINZ. How do you pronounce that, D?
Brainz.
That's it. That's how you pronounce it. Folks, other than that, I guess enjoy the show. He's going to be the host. I have some stuff to do, so I'll probably hop off. I might hop back on a little bit or something. I know that Flora likes to hop on later, so maybe I'll hop on a little bit later as well. What was I going to say? We're going to try to arrange something with Bud Kilowatt to do I don't know, one-on-one meetup. It's probably not going to be on the show or something, but I don't know. Maybe it will be. Right? It would be fun if it was. But in the meantime, I'm very much hopeful that I'll actually get to meet Bud one of these days pretty soon. Hopefully. It's been a long time that I've known him on my show. Never met him in person, like most of you folks, of course, never met in person. Anyway, enjoy the show, folks. If you like the show, don't forget to hit the up vote button or whatever. That's, I guess, Reddit language. The thumbs up. There we go. Hit the thumbs up button. If you hate the show tremendously, if you think it's just the worst thing ever, you could just go watch something else. But in the meantime, hit the downvote button twice just to make sure it counts. Obviously, tell your friends. Tell your friends if you like the show. Tell your enemies if you hate the show. What else? Yeah, I don't know. Go pet a doggy or a kitty or whatever else. And other than that, I guess I'll leave it to D. Go for it, D.
Cheers, everybody. Hope everyone's having a great night. I'm going to be here for the next couple hours till about 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, hop on, we'll hang out. Um, I'm smoking. I don't know if anyone caught the pre-show on my channel. By the way, you can check that out at subscribe to me at zombie_745. I do live shows. I can see Fumador in the background if you're still watching, chuckling there. But yeah, so I'm smoking on some Hard Knock pre-rolled rockets tonight. I got several different kinds, like different strains. The first one is Protopia and Lurch, which is Pug Slug, I'm really impressed with this one. I'm impressed with them all, but I like that one. It's really good. I also got Peanut Butter Crumble, which is peanut butter breath crossed with something. I can't remember what his cross is right now. I looked it up earlier. And then I also got grape cake cream cake, which is really good. It's like tastes like grapes. So I like that one too. And then I got the usual this stuff. If I can remember the name. Oh yeah, Dairy Queen. Good old Dairy Queen. And I went to a store today and I was able to see 1 second who that is. Oh, there's that skunk fart again. Well, that skunk fart's in. I was at the store today. I was able to find if anyone in Canada, or if anyone in the States is able to find them, let's see them pick up some Trailer Park Boys chips. These things are freaking awesome. I got I wanted the chicken chips, but they were sold out. But I also wanted these ones are called Dressed All Over, which I got, and they got dill pickle ones, and the flavor is freaking incredible. Really, they're really good. They're Conky approved. Yeah, official Trailer Park Boys chips. They're actually really good. I was probably able to grab some. I'm gonna go back when they have the chicken chips and try them. Yeah, man.
They have their own
Was it
whiskey too,
very?
don't they? Or vodka or something?
Yeah, Liquorman's whiskey.
Yeah.
They have Liquorman's liquor. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna light up another one of these joints. Let's light up. Here, I'll give Mrs. D one. 'Cause I know she's not too big on these ones I like. Here, Mrs. D. What do you want me to light it for you? Are you okay to light it? Alright. Okay to light it. And I'm gonna smoke some grape cream cake. I'll bring that up right now. Oh, it's kind of loose. It's kind of loose like your mother. Oh, what's everybody in chat smoking on? Will I bring this up? What was it? Oh yeah, grape cream cake. Boom. That. Whoops. Grape cream cake. Strange. So it's pretty funny. What was it? I was doing something, and I have my VPN set in like Spain right now, so everything comes up as Spanish. It's pretty funny. All right, grape cream cake. Oh yeah, there's a cross between grape pie and wedding crasher. That's right. Hello, Johnny Five. Johnny Five is back. If you guys missed it, go check out my show on my channel. J5 was on, which is pretty cool to have J5 on the show. So if you missed that, go check it out. Oh, fireworks. Nothing like this joint. I bought a bunch of these hard knock joint pre-rolled. These are rockets, so it's distillate, cannabis flower, and keef. and now since they switched them, they used to be 5-pack, and the distillate and the keef used to be rolled on the outside, but now they did it on the inside, which is awesome. It's not sticking to the packaging like they stick to your mama. So yeah, these joints. So they also gave me I ordered free. It's just another one, another rocket. This friggin' rocket was crazy though, yo. This had Island Punch. The strain was Island Punch. It had distillate, keef, and then it was coated on the outside with THCA diamonds. And the diamonds are friggin' awesome. I want to try. I want to try the diamonds by themselves. It was pretty cool, man. Yeah, Slug Pugs is not that one. That's peanut butter. That's great. Slug Pugs is the Fruitopia and Lurch. And I'm very impressed with the Slug Pug strain.
Here you go.
For this one, anyways. I'm good. Thank you. Cheers, Rory Gardner. J5 in the house. Jack Beanstalk, Bud Kilowatt. I think believe Bud Kilowatt was first. Yes, he was. Fuck. Yeah, these joints are freaking awesome. Yeah, I'm picky with pre-roll. What? Last time we had these was when I went to Agnes Beckett's for the day, a couple of days, or the day, or the night, or whatever it was. Wow. My brain just short circulated for a minute there, but I'm back. Yeah, this stuff's good. So it's Great Pie crossed with Wedding Crasher, which I like Wedding Crasher. But I've had it by itself. which is I think it's wedding cake, Wedding Crasher's wedding cake crossed with something. But don't hold me to it. Yeah, I wish I got some Slug Pugs. I could have had a good man. I can't talk right. This joint, I think, messing me up. I had a good chance of getting Slug Pug when they first became popular. Some seeds, but for a good price. If I didn't jump on it, I should have. There was just some other stuff I would have loved to try of his. And I like the packing. The orange packaging is pretty cool. What's everybody in chat smoking on? I'm smoking this awesome joint. And yeah, I got some cocks of pepperoni. I got another one upstairs. This one's half eaten. Hot. My favorite company. Yeah, man. Cheers to the chat. Lemon cherry tarts. I know what Bud's probably smoking on. Bud Kilowatt's probably smoking on cheetah piss. I betcha. Oh, J5 is still alive. There's Mr. Greenfingers. We'll like Mr. Greenfingers in. Oh, bing bong. Baby. Lemon Tallyman. Dale. Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl. Right on. Lemon cherry tarts and lemon Tallyman. Cool, man. Hitting up the lemon tonight. The lemon leaf. Right on. Grumpy Ganja Gardner. Cool. That's might be a tongue twister right up there. Grape gas. All right, on bud. Bud smoking the grape gas. I thought you would be the smoking cheetah piss. But right on, yeah. Grape gas. That's what I'm smoking right now. Actually, a pre-roll, uh, supercharged of grape cake, grape cream cake.
Spit it out, D.
What's that?
I said spit it out.
I know, really. Da. Full salt and seeds. Cheers. Relight this joint. That's one good thing about these joints too is they go out to leave them by themselves. So. Oh, Link, yeah, sure, bud. Give me 1 second. There, you're right there. Right in the history. That's pretty cool. There we go. There we go.
Cheers, bud.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got that right, Mrs. D. Hmm. Oops. Yeah, a pre-roll. Oh, that button. Ding dong. I think that's awesome. It's a long weekend for us this week. The weekend. We got July 1st, which is a holiday for us. In Canada, eh?
Well, our holiday is 4th of July, and I guess that falls in the middle of the week, but closer to next weekend.
Right on.
So I think celebration for the 4th will be next week,
Cool.
whatever that's worth.
Ah, Ooh, candy. I got candy too. Like gummy bears. Big box of them. Grumpy. I don't want none of them right now, though. What's more pepperoni? Really? God, my family. Okay, K5. That's funny.
So wait, you said it was like a holiday. Does that mean that they gave you like a Monday or a Friday as a holiday, so it's a 3-day weekend?
Yeah, Monday. You got the Monday off. Well, everything's closed on Monday, so.
Yeah.
But I'm glad
Everything's
I
different.
realized. Hmm? Hmm.
Yeah, I finished that. There's the great gas joint, but then when you were just talking, you said yours was all infused. So I'm rolling another one, and I'm gonna add some hash to it,
Nice.
which I don't
I
do
know,
very.
yeah.
D assumed you were smoking cheetah piss.
Yeah.
Huh. I've had cheetah piss, I think. See. Yeah, I got these. Oh yeah, you already saw that. I think they're awesome. Impact. There we go. Now we can move over. Hmm. Okay.
What's happening, Ryan? Are you working on? I saw you had some like different kind of art going.
What's going on?
Huh.
I saw you show some art that was different than the usual stuff. Some
Yeah,
different kind of pieces.
I've usually got a few different ones knocking around. I mean, this one I've been working on this one forever. The other side of it might you've probably seen before a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Even
Yeah,
though I've
that,
changed it a little bit and it's all faded, I got to put another coat on it here. And this one I'm kind of redid it. I don't think you can really see it that good in the. Just starting to get dusk here.
that one
Right
looks
now
like
is right.
it's flames. Like the way the metal is like looks like it's flames. Like it could be flame.
Yeah, it does look like it when they like the fucking old hot rod jobs and shit.
Hmm. Oh, pepperoni. Oh. Right on. Uh-oh.
This one's kind of recent too.
That's cool. Right, all right. Mm.
I used to roll hash joints where I tried to make the hash like the same length as the joint. And then in the last period of time, I just put it on the one end of the joint because as it melts, it goes like, oh, you'll still be hitting hash way at the other end.
Yeah.
And I would try to put hash all the way across. Sometimes those ones would, well, like would get too oily to smoke. But when I just put like I don't know, a little piece on the one side, the side I'm going to light, seems to work pretty good that way.
Right on. I usually roll a hash log if it's the softer malleable stuff. I can you just heat up but if it's like that really hard as a rock, like your mama likes it from me, I have to heat it up and I'll have to crumble it and just put it in after. Mix it in after. That's right, just a tip, K5. Cheers, Sultan. Long time no see.
Been a few minutes. Try to jump on, my other phone's doesn't let me.
You know, just because I'm thinking about it. Let's see. Over here we have 2, 4, 6 split minis going. And 4 of them are that brand with the F, Fujitsu or whatever. I don't pronounce it right. But 2 of them are these, I guess they're a little fancy. They seem fancy. LG models, right? So a couple days ago, because they're on the ceiling on the roof of the warehouse. Well, 5 of them are up there. There used to be 6, but one died years ago. So there's one down below outside. But the other ones are up on the roof. It was pretty hot yesterday in the middle of the day when we set up this fucking huge ass ladder and climbed up there. And it was making this rumbling sound, like inside, like I thought maybe something got sucked in, or I couldn't figure out. And it wasn't like it was running. It had an error code. So, all right, yeah, the fan bolt and the washers that hold the fan on in the unit outside. Yeah, like the I think I threw it away. But it had this washer that was kind of, I think, meant to be pretty thick.
That's what she said.
It just wore out, right? So the fan wasn't like, well, all we did is add a couple more washers for it can tighten back up. But like, and just we had to redo some of the wiring because the wiring was exposed because the sun baked it. Yeah, fuck those LGs. They're like, they're not made very well. That's like compared to like some other brands I've had, Daikin and Fujitsu or whatever it's called. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they're all about the same price. LG, like the look of theirs is slicker and the remote's fancier, but those things aren't built to last. That's all I'll say. They might be good home units to use occasionally, but in a grow, you split minis like going 24/7. Yeah, we're luckily we have a couple more Fujitsus. I have like some from my old spot. I can't pronounce. I'm probably butchering the name, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, because I could just tell. Oh, we got it working again. No problem. No more noise and rumbling. But I could tell by looking at it, it's just another period of time before that one. It's run for over 5 years, I think. but so are the other ones. And those ones look like they're built to last or built to have high usage. Where the LG model, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. That thing sucks. Like basically the metal that they used on this washer was so soft and shitty that it just wore off. Like it 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 was like paper thin, where I don't think it was, yeah, the way it bolts on there and seats on there, that washer was supposed to stay a certain thickness for it to work right. And over 5 years, the washer just got so thin that the the blade, the propeller was wobbling. I was like, yeah, that's like a 2 cent part that should have probably been a 10-cent part. Like, yeah, if you bought or manufactured with a good grade steel washer or stainless washer, or, oh, that would never have happened. But then again, that's that kind of thing. What do you call it? Planned obsolescence or whatever. Oh, they probably know for sure you use this shitty washer, and then so many years later, you're going to have it repaired. Like that's part of the plan. Which, like all companies do that, but like when it's so obvious, yeah, that'll be actually, I never bought LG anything, but I had a friend years ago had this really fancy refrigerator that was LG, and he sold it after a couple years because it was so bullshit. And then another friend had washer and dryer, and they sucked too. I don't know if anyone else has had experience with the LG brand, but I think it's
No.
Korean. I think it's like, I'm not even
Oh,
sure, but
that's
so
kind.
many years ago, I never even knew that company. I think they first came along with TVs and then basically manufacture all appliances and
Nice.
shit. My experiences, they suck.
Right on.
They have cool tech,
Nice.
like they're like modern that way, but the mechanics of it suck.
Quit poking me with that bud. Something.
That's a Mendel Breath Banana God. F1 by
Nice.
Buddy Kilowatt. One of my favorites still.
Right on.
Those were some good seeds.
Yeah, Mendo breath was pretty solid. I haven't had it for a while, any Mendo of any kind. I miss Mendo breath or just that Mendo dankness. I've always loved that mainly. I mean, it tastes great smoking it. There's like when the over the years strains from Mendo, it's the exhale, like, oh, the smell in the room after you smoke it.
Yeah,
There's like this certain, I don't even know how to describe that smell or whatnot. Dank. It's
that's
dank.
the dank. Yeah, that's the
Dank.
dank. that's
Yeah,
that's how I
that
describe
Mendo
it.
breath
That's the dank.
definitely is that. And
Yeah.
Mendo breath is just an incarnation of Mendo perps or Mendo montage or Mendo this, whatever that gene pool that's the Mendo. Yeah, that's a dank strain. It's crossed into a lot of stuff. A lot of people use that as because it's dank. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And the first time I got hints of grape from weed was from Mendo. The Mendo pounds used to smell grapey a little, not grapey like today that's so predominant, but like years ago before there was so many fruity terps and stuff.
Pretty fucking
Grape.
fruity.
And I always thought that the grape kind of came out of people's work with Mendo. Could be wrong, but
Yeah, I planted some Coracle and some other stuff, some old TGA stuff that I got, and some Fumidor stuff I'm looking forward to.
and with our
Black
great
Magic.
gas, most of the time we never really hold any amount for more than a month. And this last round, there was still a few pounds that they were over a month old, like 6 weeks old. They were still fresh and kept knotted up in the climate controlled space. But I realized, oh, the gas, yeah, the grape kind of faded off on those. Because even the customer's like, yeah, it doesn't smell as grapey, but it's really gassy. And that put the thought in my head. And sure enough, yeah, the gas and grape gas will come out later once the grape fades. Because like grape terps are better fresh. Like a lot of the fruit terps or the real candy terps are better when the weed's fairly, you know, fresh. I mean, cured and dried, but fresh. But that's a hard terp to like capture and keep in the bag for a long period of time. But I noticed that, yeah, because I never really got the gassy part of grape gas until this last pounds where the one I'm smoking is from that batch. Yeah, it got to be like a month old, and then the grape faded a little, still grapey, but faded a little, and the gas appeared. That was my observation. That one.
Yeah, I got a bunch of
Hello,
grape stuff
everybody.
going on. Whole bunch of grapes going. All different people, all different breeders, all different grapes and bananas. All kinds of different flavors.
Yeah, I dug out when I moved out of my house. It's just like a large. Well, I have two of them, but large priority mail box, and basically it's like part one and part two of my seed collection. I opened up one that was part one. That's probably the more primo, like the stuff that I put aside. Yeah, because I haven't cracked any seeds myself in a while. I just haven't wanted to put in the work. And
Yeah.
the clone game around me is pretty good, and a lot less work and risk.
Yeah, risk first reward.
Like even in the past, I had my spot, which I don't have at the moment or at the now, and then this spot. Oh, my partner. Oh, we never take no chances here. Like it was never like, yeah, let's crack some seeds here and see if they herb or if they fuck up the whole place. No, that's not part of the thing. Now, my own place, I had the ability to do that. Or, and that's a lot of the reasons I'm not messing with seeds because, yeah, I've had my oopsies and things that happened over the years, and those are kind of at this point would be a catastrophic. Like you can't have a oops crop. Like the numbers are so tight that you have no room for error. Yeah, basically no room for error, which is even when this AC went out for 2 days. Oh yeah, instead of the room running in the low 80s, that's how I knew something was wrong because the temperature was like in the high 80s. It ain't the end of the world, but I already know there's a batch that's on flush. It's like on week 7 right now that was in that room. It won't be as terpy, even though those terps were there. But that, like, I don't know what temperature exactly, but once you get into the high 80s, 90s, then you add the light or the canopy, or the direct light. That's where not that we don't come out good that way, but if you're really trying to capture the most terps, the stinkiest weed, yeah, you got to keep the temperatures below like 84 degrees. Once you get 85, 86, 89, you're starting to cook off terps.
Oh yeah, no, you can smell it on the.
It's been
smell
a
it.
few months, and we have them still and periodically use them. But this other grower friend of ours that grows the same strains, but a lot of times his shit's terpier than ours. He's like, yeah, dude, all those oscillating fans, when you have air blowing on your plant, right? You're like, yeah, you're basically evaporating, or you're uh, terps away. And when that guy said that, he's best friends with my partner, so he's a good guy, but he doesn't have. I have a lot of experience. He has like a medium amount of experience, so it's hard for me to take his advice. But okay, he was right though. When we changed and like, look, if the room's cool enough in the environment and the air is being moved in the room, actually blowing air on your fans, which has been a long technique of growers, we oscillating fans basically, with your leaves dancing around and blowing air through there. Yeah, it's not that I think yeah, or we got terpier. Like when we dry and cure it, it holds more of that smell when it's in that stage than when we used to blow. We had so many oscillating fans, it was like a thing, because that was like a technique. That was what we we did. Uh, and logic makes sense that you don't really need to blow the air on the fans. You just got to make sure that the air is being mixed up in the whole room.
Yeah, just circulation, right?
Yeah. Like,
yeah, the direct.
because they become this wasted expense, and even the ones that are more money are still made China shitty. Oscillating fans are like a fucking ripoff, right? They never really last for very long, like a couple years top before they're like usually the first thing that happens is whatever plastic gearing that makes it oscillate, that breaks. Like you don't even touch the thing, it just breaks, right? Uh and then sometimes they're still working, and oh yeah, you clean the blades and clean the thing, but all of a sudden you realize there's hardly any like air being blown, right? Like they suck, especially the ones they distribute the hardware stores for basically $69 and up. That whatever brand that the hydro store sells, those ones really suck. And over the years, I had a lot of like 6 and 8 inch can fans, which they're a little noisier, but if you add a little ducting on each side, it dampers it. And if you really want to damper it, wrap it in a towel or whatever. Uh, those blow strong, so you can't really have that directly on your plant. That'd be too strong. But then if you place them right in the room, one of those will, yeah, I mean, your air's moving. That's it. Like, that seems to work better. And even though those were a little more money to buy initially, I have a couple of those that have run for 20 fucking years and still work. Right? Like those ones don't die in a year or so. Right? Uh, they're built to last. They're built to run 8 hours, 12, 24 hours a day. Where those oscillating fans, it's a rip off. All fan, like the whole fan market, even for home fans, the box fans they sell for cheap. They're like I know any day now will be where Home Depot and Lowe's will have like the whole front of the store will be pallets of all these fans, right? And, oh, it's the beginning of summer, they cost all this money. And then when it's finally time that they put something else in that space in the store, because it's not fan season anymore. Oh, and then they sell them all cheap as fuck. That's the time to buy fans, when they're like trying to blow them out, like in the later part of fall. You buy them at the early part of summer, you pay like full ditch.
That's funny.
Yeah, like over the years, I noticed that. Like, there's like a whole display of fans, like that in the front of Home Depot. They'll make a whole section and have like all the fans. Well, because it's like Christmas, or it's like seasonal shopping. They they only stock the fans and all those brands of fans and the variety for those months that are the peak. And then once that's over, then they liquidate that stock and put whatever else, whatever heaters or whatever else that's selling that season. They probably put poinsettias and Christmas shit, because it'll be like the end of fall. And then all of a sudden the whole store becomes like Christmas decorations and Christmas bullshit. And that
Big
shit's
trees.
only around for a couple months, and then it's
What?
back to
What?
whatever.
Yeah.
But if you buy certain items, you know they can wait at like at the end of their peaks. Yeah, and then like those whatever box fans that they're trying to get like $29 for or whatever, those will be under $10 in a few months. Like when they're just trying to clear the
DJ five.
buy it. You could buy 5 of them then for where you could buy 1 of them now.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I need new fans now.
Sorry, guys. I'm just focused on chat and trying to figure out what the heck they're talking about.
What's going on in chat?
Oh,
Kind of a
J5 is
seasonal
one.
topic because, well, some places may have already hit the summer weeks ago, but my area, this week was finding like clear skies, 80, 90, maybe even a little hotter in some areas. Yeah, it's summer now. And even the other issue with one of our ACs, there's like a puddle periodically in the last month. Like, oh, a day or two, there'll be this little puddle from it dripping.
Wow.
And then it won't be for a couple days, right? And oh, I went and checked and made sure that it's clean. These have been serviced and clean. No, what I found is condensate. There's condensation on the line set, copper line, and then it's coming. It's not like dripping from the unit; it's dripping from the line, and then it's one of those things where, oh, if I have the AC guy come on the day that it's doing that, cool. But like most of the days, it's not doing that. And then I can't figure out, is it because of the outside environment? And what I figure is, because there's pressure in there, and sometimes over time, the pressure needs to be recalibrated, because you usually lose a little pressure over time, and that might be making it condensate. And it's not like a huge thing. It's like a little 1-foot puddle of drips, not on the plants, thank God, but in the aisle. But it's always something. That's the thing. When you want to grow for any length of time, which years start to click off for everybody, yeah, your real job is becoming the troubleshooter for those things. Some of which, if you wait till they have an issue or break, can cost you plants, can cost you the quality of your crop. And, sometimes it's like, yeah, we've done this long enough to like be able to see those things before they happen and address them, even though a lot of times what's the same, like, yeah, if it works, don't fix it. Yeah, that sometimes puts you in a situation where you don't realize the decline. Like even yesterday, I pulled out the thermometer test thing. So there's like a formula where the air into a split mini, and then you put the thing in front of the split mini, and that's how you gauge if it's running efficient or whatnot. Oh yeah, they're still running efficient that way. But if you really quantified the power use, because that's the thing when you I've seen it with split minis or split minis, when you have them serviced, they'll still be able to accomplish the same cooling with less energy. And that's the part you don't realize is, oh yeah, it's keeping the temperature, but now it's running whatever percent more. Because when a split mini is really working well, that's what makes it different than like a thermostat air conditioner. It's pretty much the standard in most. A thermostat just comes on 100% when it hits its temp thing, and then goes off 100%. Whereas split mini, the better ones have like, I guess, computer tech that it learns its job of what it, and then it tries to minimize, tries to be more efficient and use less energy to accomplish that job. So it can come on at different percentages. It might decide the best way to do this is at 30% the whole time, or might decide to go up to 100% for a few minutes and then back down to this percent. But it's able to, like, to a degree, be more efficient with the use of energy and cooling. But then when they start to get older or they're not maintained, oh, they still keep it cool. But now you're like, you don't realize because, why did my power bill go up 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks? Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Keeping things efficient, not just working.
J5 in the chat's asking if you can ask Buddy and Hardcore if the hash came from MI for me. Like, isn't that Michigan?
Yeah. Michigan's MI for sure.
Yeah.
I just know people like J5 Eagle, a host of other people, the Michigan Bro Show, sort of know some things about Michigan through watching that content. But other than that, I don't know. I haven't been to Michigan since like the 90s. I went there for Dead shows a few times. But it's weird for a place and I don't really personally know anybody other than I feel like I personally know some of these people, J5 especially. We're like friends and chat off of this and have a lot in common. But like, even Fumi mentioned it. Like, I got a text, Fumi's in LA for a couple weeks. And we're figuring it out. We're gonna I don't know what's gonna be the best schedule, but like I've known Fumi now like 3 years or more, maybe it's more since, I guess 2019. Because if I have to figure out when I got involved or started watching cannabis content and social media cannabis, it was COVID. It was like maybe the first month of COVID when we were is when I like I don't know what possessed me. I don't know. Next thing you know, it all started with one episode on Future Cannabis Project, and then that led to all this other stuff pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Snowball
even,
effect.
even what I realized, I used to be addicted to the news. Like previous to that time, I just have like the news on and like follow that bullshit. And I had for a couple years before that realized that was making me sick. It was like always bad energy. It was always like, oh, you're following some crazy bullshit drama story. It was like addictive in this weird way. It made you feel like doom and gloom or all this shit. And then one day the next, I don't watch the news. Now, I wish I could say I didn't even pay attention at all, but even being on social media, Instagram, YouTube, it's pretty hard to completely eliminate yourself from that information chain. But then I was really bummed because the Dead, they took this week off. I didn't know that. So, okay, I thought, all right, I'm gonna watch the debate. Now watch the debate, and that was fucked. Like, because I'm a Democrat. No, I make that. I'm not. I'm not even. There's not on the fence. I've been a Democrat since I was a kid. I was raised to think like, yeah, we never vote. We hate the better side. We don't hate, but all right, we're not Republican. I'm a California snowflake, liberal, whatever. And like, holy shit, we're fucked, right? And then I watched it, and then thinking, oh, it's 7:30 when it ends. Oh, cool, the Dead show will start. And I sent my friends the link. Question, hey, what's the link? Uh, and they're like, dude, there's no shows this weekend because I would have just like went from that fucked up reality, smoked a joint, and listened to a concert, and then it wouldn't have. Fuck that. Who cares? Like, what does it really matter? Is it really going to affect your day to day life? No, nah, doesn't matter. All that bullshit. But then I watched like fucking like 5 more hours of like commentary, the comedy shows about it, everything. Holy fuck, dude.
Crazy.
It's not even. I keep thinking, okay, wake up. This can't. As much as I hated everything before, the establishment, the politics, it's not like I've ever think that there's a solution. They're always fucked up, but not on this. Like this is like this is something else. This is something beyond description. Sometimes I wonder how history is going to quantify these moments or the reality of this, right? Because a lot of what we're living through, that won't be the narrative 100 years from now when it's like summed up in a paragraph or two in history, right? But this has been pretty gnarly. The reality of this, regardless of what side you're on, you have to be like, yeah, this is not something's wrong here. That
Yeah, work.
was gnarly. Like, holy fuck. Because, yeah, there's a lot of talk now. Oh, he got to step aside. Newsom. Newsom's the governor of our state. Yeah, I hate him more than Trump, right? Because he quietly has like vetoed and done nothing and is ultimately responsible for the current cannabis business of California, which it's obvious to me that he's in the pockets of like bigger corporations, and his ultimate goal with the power he has is to have cannabis industry as weak as possible for his phony fucking corporate friends. Won't have to pay so much when they come to buy it, not the weed, the industry, right? And so it having low price, having a lot of investors lose money, have the business in the state it's in, which wait, California cannabis is in shambles. Wait, this is like at least 50 years of that, no longer than that I've seen. No, my dad made a living from selling weed, even though he sold Mexican weed in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, like everything I've ever done in my life came from weed, right? And somehow, they fucked it up so bad that in my mind, I don't even see it ever getting better. But hopefully, but they really fucked it up. I think everyone can agree they fucked it up. Something's not right with the whole thing, other than they can brag that they collected billions and billions and hundreds of billions in tax revenue from cannabis across the country. So they celebrate that. But from the consumer all the way to the producer and everyone in between, no, I can't. I don't know. Does anyone think that it's going good? Does anyone think that it's the way it should be? I don't think so. Not on either side. Of course, I'm black market guy, so I think the way I do. But even listening to all these legal guys, oh, they're not happy with the way it's going. And who do you have to blame for that? Your governor, because they're the ones that ultimately have the power to either make it better or not. And somehow there's not even another state where you could go, well, at least they're doing something right in that state. Because like in the last few months, I've read this whole article that Colorado's in total shambles, the same as California. On goes the list. Oh, there's hope in Minnesota because it's emerging, and New York, it's still new, or now New York is in shambles. It seems to be that it's not like, oh, well, this state decided to do it different and they took this approach and, it seems to be working better. No, everyone goes down the same path. And that path, I don't know who does it benefit? Who's happy with it? Why doesn't it improve? Why isn't there like changes, logical changes and growth in it? Why is everything like set up to fail, basically, or set up to be like this mess? Sometimes I think, well, do I just think that because I'm black market and old or whatever? No, because I don't. Even on in this show, it's not like, oh, well, so and so, another guest or another person that in chat is all like saying that the legal mark. No one's standing up for the system. The system is broke. I think everyone can agree on that. Then you have to question, why is it broke, and why isn't there things that would whether it fixed it or not, at least try to like make it better. And it seems to be, yeah, like in my lifetime, like I'm like at an age where I'm sort of over it in a lot of ways. I'm in my 60s. Yeah, in my whole life, no, I would never have thought that they could fuck it up so fast, so bad, so fast. But they did. They did.
Right on, Salt and Seed.
Heck yeah. Some big plant.
The other one looks pretty damn big.
That's the volunteer. Analema, Mendo Breath, Banana God.
Nice.
How hot is it getting out by you? You're already up in the hundreds some days, huh?
Yeah, it's 110. I already got a dead plant from something. Couldn't handle the heat.
Yeah, well,
One
I
down.
used to find dead plants in the 90s. Some plants just are like, no, they don't function in that. What weather zone or that temperature range. It's croak.
There's a few trying to re-veg, and then I don't know
Well,
if they're gonna work.
considering that the science says that the whole planet is just going to keep getting hotter, you're doing the real testing and the like, because if a plant can't make it out in Greenfinger's hands, then it probably is not going to be part of the future cannabis strains when the temperatures worldwide are predicted to go up. Some cannabis is just not going to grow in that condition, or it will evolve and grow differently. Like that's what life does, right?
A lot of narrow leaf do pretty good out here. Some of the wider leaf stuff struggles, but it still gets by. Just doesn't get any bigger. Stays small, squat. Like a Bubba would stay really small. Fucking outdoors out here. Wouldn't have nothing. You'd have to grow like 100 of them to get a good.
We grow in the 80s basically for so many years. I kept my rooms in the 70s, mid 70s, which yeah, definitely made for crusty, stinky, great bud. But the yield, like if you're trying to get back then, we were happy getting a pound of light, right? So that was a way that worked good. Today, if you're trying to get closer to 2.5, 3 a light, oh, you can't grow in 73. It affects the yield overall, right? But I still think that the best weed is grown in, for most strains, is grown in lower temperature.
Yeah.
Like plants like that shit, dude. They don't get as big and they don't get as dense, and they might not even look as crusty, but somehow it, like, that was the weed I won the cup with. Any batch I look back at and go, oh yeah, that was that was killer throughout all these years. It was always like a winter or like a cool temperature batch. Like when I just used to use air, and so I was more temperature dependent on outside. Yeah, my best weed by far, no question, was the weed that was in the lower side of the temperature range, not the higher side. Yield and growth and how much growth, oh, they grew better and warm. That's for sure. Just my
Plants that re-veg pretty good.
but
Everything
hey,
re-veg.
LEDs too, and the cost of keeping a room really cool. Yeah, most people grow in the low 80s, low 70s. Like, 20 years ago, it's all about keeping the fucking as cold as you could, blasting all those HPS, which I still do. But we found it to get better yield, the warmer temperature.
Yeah, I gotta
In
plant some more
reality, we
plants.
balanced it out and said, yeah, fuck it. I still just want to grow the better weed. So I'll do it at lower temperature and take less yield. And then you ran the numbers and the thing in the current market. No, you can't do it. You have to so even the genetics, the methods we're using is about achieving a yield more than achieving a quality, which I think affects everything from the nutrients and the soil, everything, to the strains, especially the strains that end up like being run the most, right? And what's in the market. Yeah, because even those places, yeah, it's all about real light. Fuck, some of these guys can put in get more than that. I think that all those things, the three main things, yield, quality, or those two things, they're like on a give and take scale, even with breeding. Because I think a long time ago when I first started getting into getting packs of seed, a lot of the combinations of strain was taking something that was super dank that didn't yield very much or had bad structure and putting it with something that had good structure and yielded. It wasn't so much about all these crazy flavors and all that. It was more about that. And that's been a thing from time to time because some of the best strains, as far as like, damn, the dankest littlest fucking nugs, or came from strains that didn't yield a lot. I think that's like, what do you call it? Like part of nature. That's like the dankest shit. Yeah, the real true dankest shit. My experience, most of those, if not all, weren't like, it wasn't just that they didn't yield good. They were finicky. They were slow growth. They didn't clone well. There was all these things with some of those strains. You used to go through all that because what was most important back then, 20 years ago, was the dankest fucking weed. That was it. That was the box that you were after, and the numbers of the game made it that it was that way. Today it's totally reversed, and it's really like the main box, and you can't get around that box is yield. And then now we've been on years of that. It affects everything. It affects methods. It affects strains and genetics that are, not that there isn't these other genetics out there. They're just not the ones that become popular and on the shelf and stick around where everybody knows, oh, great gas and apples, bananas, or this strain and that strain. Those are all ones that yield. No commercial place I know sacrifices anything above the yield. Like, they only run shit that yield 2, 3 alike, or they measure it differently because they're have so at such scale, but yield.
My front
Difference,
door was open that whole
like,
time,
even
wasting
it
cold
would
air.
be one thing if, okay, this certain kind of weed that yields 3 pounds costs X amount of pounds wholesale, but the super dank shit that you can only get a pound of light and it's more finicky costs like triple that amount, or like if there was like a market that supported that, right? Oh, and then there would be, and even back in the 6,400 a pound or 4,800 a pound, the 6,000 pound price range, yeah, there was like the 36 to $4,800 weed. And then there were certain people that are like, oh no, my shit's the dankest. It's 400 all the way up. You want a pound at 6,400. People paid it because that weed was that exquisite, right? Today we don't really have that exquisite weed unless you grow it yourself, right? The market, nah. They if you ask them for it, they'll put some things in your hand and say, yeah, this is whatever, and it cost, but it isn't that much better than the rest of the shit that they have, because they only were willing to pay so much. Like, that's what I noticed in the broker market. Yeah, from like the least pound, the decent pound of like what they call top shelf, to the best, there might be a price range of $200 between them, meaning 1,000 a pound or 1,200, or 1,200 to 14. That's the range, right? I've lately been operating the 12 to 14. if I produce something and said, oh yeah, no, this is 26, take it or leave it, they just leave it. Now, oh, my small customers, they love it. No problem. They'd say, oh, what? So now I have to pay 25 more an ounce? Sure. Right? Because they would appreciate it. But the wholesale market, they the few brokers I deal with and a few others I know, yeah, they're like this. Yeah, they don't play that. Not on that scale, no. And that's sad because every commodity has that. Like, oh yeah, there's plenty of coffee for whatever a pound. But oh, you really want some exquisite shit? Oh, it's this much a pound. All right. Everything's that way. You want some really good vegetables? Oh, yeah, it's not no 29 cents a pound. You want the good wine or good alcohol, right? But somehow in cannabis at the wholesale level, yeah, they've got the market to this weird place where, and if you were to say, yeah, these ones are 12, but these five, they're 14, it would take like a half an hour of negotiate. Like they look at that as a challenge and then would go through this verbal game with you where they would, oh, well, I buy so much. Oh, well, how about just not this time? I like, they won't just go, okay, sure, bing, 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 cash you out. No, they used to. Like the world used to be different in that market. Like I remember being a grower a long time. Customers didn't even want to like irritate you beyond piss you off because then you might cut like you were the people that you sold to, their existence depended on the relationship they had with the grower. And weren't that many of us. And so the people that had access coveted it. And like I can remember, yeah, those people, they wouldn't like whatever I said, they go, okay. They would never go, oh no, this like I forget what year that started. Like maybe 2015 when I realized when I maybe before that when I was dealing with 215 dispensaries and the owners and it became like a he and ha thing, which like some people love that shit. The negotiation and I'm the one not I don't like that. Like that turns me off. That most of the time I just give in, but then yeah, I just won't ever have anything for you again because I don't want to. Like I have this one guy, Dave. Oh, he's a fucking good customer, but we've decided it's always this hem and haw thing where yeah, it's not worth it. Like, but then I get it. He's my friend. I've known him over 10 years. I he has a family, his kid, his thing, whatever. It's like that. He thinks that's his job. Like it is his job. Like he's trying to negotiate that $50 or whatever, and we'll go through many different means to that, where it gets tiresome after a while when you have like I have 99% of people. No, they don't. I no, I don't like people that do that. That's especially when you do business long term. You're like, wait a second, do we have to go through this again? And then you have to come up with the reasons why you're not going to give them the deal. Like it's like a whole. Uh, nah, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but nah, save me that bullshit. People should do that at the retail level when they go in and they say, "Oh, it's 16.8." They say, "I'll give you 45," and then they can come back and go, "All right, 50. All right, deal." Like, but no one negotiates at the counter. They negotiate at the farm. or at the grower level. And yeah, that's
Anybody
why I
wants
only have a handful of people I deal with, because most people, yeah, you got to do this whole negotiation thing. Even like the trick that like I've seen it so many times that I'm like, don't even bother. They'll tell you, well, I bought these ones for 9, and they were like this. And then you're like, let me see it. And sometimes they'll be like, all right, and they'll show you, and you're like, yeah, well, I wouldn't have paid 7 for this. This isn't on the same level as that, but they use that as like a negotiating ploy or whatever. Sometimes you just have to say no and like say, all right, then fuck it. No. And then hope. Sometimes, oh, that's the end of biz between the two of you. Other times, oh, take a week or two, and it's like catching a fish.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, my kid Robbie. So now, see, back in Berlin, he had problems when he was in Prague, where, oh yeah, no, he has like his own. He's he just works for another guy in California, but they're like, they got stuff, and they got stuff over there, whether it's pounds, kilos. Oh, you want a pound of rosin? Boom. You want this? Boom. Like they got that part down, but now they're running into like, yeah, like today he called me and told me, yeah, the people he networked with, the this other dude that that is like the boss of this area. I'm like, wait, Berlin's a big city. He's like, no, this guy runs the weed game in this area. And so he basically blacklisted dude, like told his people not to fuck with him, and basically texted him and saying, yeah, you can't come over here from Cali with this price, and just because you're trying to fly home and don't want, need to unload your shit. Don't fuck up our trip over here, and my buddy Robbie's like, yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, dude, well, what would be the thing if some Euro dude showed up in Ukiah and then you, you had your friend because he whatever, and you brought him around your circle, and the next thing you know, he was like undercutting your thing. Like, isn't that like the ABCs of like dope is? Like, yeah, no, like he's shocked. He's in his 30s that he's running into that situation where I'm like, well, that should be expected, dude. Like, that's these people's turfs. Like, oh, because some of these people what are more like gangsters, we'll say, than the deadhead from the lot, hippie from Cali. You know what I'm saying? They are a little more territorial, we'll say. And he's not the only like Cali guy or Colorado guy or American that's showing up in these cannabis pockets, right? Uh, and it seems like there's already established people from that area that are threatened by like whatever's to come. Like, I'm sure the same amount of people roughly smoked weed in Germany before they legalized it. They got their weed somehow for decades, if not longer. Now all of a sudden it's legal. Oh, now you have all these yahoos from all over the world because, oh, there's Americans over there trying to drum up action, and there's people from Amsterdam or the Netherlands that are also like because they already had the European thing for all those years. And it seems like the latest place, oh, Berlin. Give it Berlin 1 year and then it'll be saturated and played out because this group and this business, this industry, that's what it does. Like, oh, and then they'll jump to the next place that if you're following the news, oh, it still might take a year or so, but Japan, it would be like, oh, first people in on Japan are probably gonna, but it doesn't seem like any of these things set up for the long haul. Like Thailand's already all blown out and oversaturated, right? Um, I'm sure Germany will be the same. Oh, Barcelona. Oh, yeah, that just because they have that event once a year, it's not like uh, there's this endless cannabis consumer that has this endless money that's going to support all these cannabis endeavors. There's too much supply, not enough demand. That's what it is. Even though there's a lot of demand, no question, the demand's going up. The supply out, yeah. It's countries destroy more weed than they sell and documented it each year. Same with states. Oh, that's a problem. Like that was the first sign a couple years ago when Bubble Man or whatever had this whole document from the Canadian government that showed they destroyed like 1,000,000 grams, but they only sold like 600,000. Or that's I don't really remember the numbers, but that meant they they destroyed more weed than they sold. That's something's wrong in that business. Like if any other agriculture product did that, it would be bad. But somehow cannabis just thinks we can like have this massive oversupply for endless month after month and still have a healthy cannabis industry. No, it doesn't work that way. That's simple. Like that's as simple as it gets. Like states should be in the business of only licensing out the right amount of cannabis to be grown to have a healthy market. That should be their job. But that's not what they do at all. They give out as much licenses and then give bigger licenses to those people. Just pay them the money and they'll give you more square footage, right? They don't do that to other crops. They regulate. It's like fuck regulation, but if it's gonna make a healthier price, then I guess that's what needs to happen.
Okay. There's everybody in chat. Hope everyone's having a great night.
So, is fireworks even a big thing in Canada? Like, is there another holiday that you guys blast off fireworks, and do individuals get their own fireworks, or is it just fireworks shows?
No, we can buy them individually, but you have to have a license to sell them. And we have more than one holiday here for fireworks.
Illegal fireworks or just fireworks is big
Just
business.
fireworks.
Like
Yeah, you can't buy illegal fireworks here.
the trapper dude I met that
What?
basically used Instagram to sell weed and sell other things. I noticed over the last 2 months, he doesn't post anything about any of that. He just posts, he's got the connection for fucking every kind of firework you can imagine. Like, yeah. and, and he says the same things he said about weed. Yesterday's prices aren't today's prices. Or he has all these things like, drumming up the business, but it looks like, oh, that there's people want fireworks more than they want anything else.
Yeah,
Please look at
sure.
when
Which-
you made it move of it.
Yeah, which one?
No, everything.
Peanut butter?
Sure.
Yeah.
Picture
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen that over the years, they do this like time-lapse helicopter footage over the LA basin, which is massive. It's LA's spread out 20 million people. And these aren't fireworks. Oh, sprinkled in is a couple real fireworks shows, but there's this each year it keeps even getting bigger, and some of it's gunshots and other shit. But yeah, LA's they be blowing shit up, dude. It's like a fad, it's a thing. I don't know if you've seen them. They went viral. There was like this video that from the air that showed like how big and how much of it was going off for a pretty long time, like a lot.
I seen one
What
earlier
goes up
today.
comes down.
I was watching one earlier today, and it was a fireworks show, and the guy had like a countdown. It was like from 10, but it was a firework counting like with the numbers going counting down from 10. 10, then 9 would come up, the fireworks, and then after when it gets to 1 or 0 or whatever, the fireworks show would start. It's so crazy.
Well, if you're willing to spend a little money, like it used to be years ago, you could get like sparklers and bottle rockets and Roman candle.
Can't get bottle rockets here anymore. Illegal. That'd be cool though.
like pretty much minor fireworks. Today, you can get like I don't even know the sizes of them, but like big mortars, like not quite professional show ones, but almost like uh yeah, the access of like real fireworks is much higher than it used to be. You used to just have that what would hit the streets were like I say, Roman candles and M80s and little shit really. No, some of these ones I see, oh yeah, they're like $100 for 6 of these whatever size mortars. But uh those are pretty like oh they put up you can have like a neighborhood an individual could do his own little fireworks show. It won't be as high, but it'll almost be as spectacular. But that costs a lot of money. Those things aren't cheap.
I'd love to get my hands on some old like black cats, Chinese fireworks.
I'm
Lots
just
of pot.
I'm just
Hey,
waiting for
Jake.
I'm waiting for the lake people here to start raffling them off here, but they haven't started yet.
Yes, Jake.
Well,
Bye.
ever since it happened, which I don't know what year, it was so many years ago. And then since then, San Diego, like we can claim the biggest fireworks show, I think on the west of the Mississippi or something, but it's 4 different barges down in the Embarcadero. It's pretty impressive. But even how it's called the Big Bay Boom. And the reason it's called that is so many years ago, they hired top company and somehow, and it was all in one spot. It all went off at once. I don't know if anyone remembers that story or seen that video, but literally like a whole fireworks show that was supposed to take 20 or 30 minutes or whatever detonated at once, right? It was like a catastrophic failure. And that's why they called it the Big Bang Boom. Because when that happened, there was this talk that, oh, that's it. We're banning no more fireworks shows for the whole city. And there was a lawsuit and this whole thing. And there's this video where, yeah, it's kind of grainy. It's probably 10 years old now, or it's not the best, but yeah, it shows the whole thing going off at once. And since then, every year when they do the Big Bang Boom, I'm like, oh man, hope that happens again. I'm rooting for that to happen again. But now, oh, and they explain it all. Oh, that can't happen. The company that does it, these brothers, they're like one of the top, and all the fuses are separated, and this and that. Like,
A
because
lot
that
of
was
it
a
now
big
is
thing.
sorry.
It was like a bomb. Like, I don't think anyone got killed, but they could have.
All of it now, a lot of it now is all programmed to a
Yeah.
board and everything. They even have the cool. I've seen them. They have these things where you can clip them on. You clip it onto the end of the wick, and it's like a battery. The battery end to create a spark, and you push the button on a remote, and it lights it off.
Well, a lot of times the best fireworks I've seen was just on the freeway because
Mhm.
I don't think it's every night, but almost every night. Disneyland, which is right on the 5 freeway, and there's been times I've been lucky enough to drive by right when Disneyland, and you can see it from the freeway. They blast their shit almost every night. I
Yeah,
think it's like through these summer months. Yeah. So like if you want to go see fireworks, you can just go drive up to Anaheim and park wherever around the street from Disneyland and see a fireworks show.
yeah,
Because there's, even though it's every night, oh, they do a pretty good one. They spend a lot of money on
yeah.
it.
Same with Canada Wonderland. Like Canada Wonderland will have fireworks display this weekend. They're a big thing. Thank you. Not as big as like Disneyland or nothing, but the music part. Mhm. There we go.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad, I mean, I assumed the border was a lot more open. It's like, oh, he used to have tons of weed from Mexico that he sold, but he also had a lot of fireworks throughout the years, mainly M80.
Yeah.
We had different ones, but the ones we would always, as kids, get a hold of some were M80s. And when we were like, I don't know, junior high, seventh grade ish, I guess, we'd go around the neighborhood and to our different spots, the schools, and we'd find places where we could wedge like a wall or a rock thing that someone put on the side of their house, and we'd wedge M80s in it. And yeah, we used to blow some shit up. Like, oh, they were cool if you just bam, but if you wedged it in the right place, oh, those things could like tear
We used to take
the
we used to
glass
take 2-liter bottles.
the street or some shit.
We used to take 2-liter bottles and the Works bathroom cleaner, and then yeah, if you were to take tinfoil and throw that in the mix, that doesn't reactions happen and mailboxes fly apart.
I mean, I don't have kids, but some of my friends might have kids. Yeah, I don't think kids at the same age, like when I was at, yeah, whether it was me or my other Mitch or Scott or some neighborhood kids, we had these things and we were like kids. Like
Well,
we
now
were
they're just
looking
killing
like,
each other at 9 years old.
yeah, like today, I don't like most kids probably never go and blow up some gnarly shit on their own. Like that's just like, if, if, how could they do that? They're never out of their parents' sight. It's like a different world. Like, yeah, I used to ride my BMX bike or whatever, a bike, like the whole valley. Like sometimes I think, yeah, as a kid, we would ride from our house all the way out to the top of fucking Chatsworth to do these jumps in this field? Yeah. Like today, that'd be like, what? Your kid just went on his own. Like I never even see kids out and about that you think, oh, look, there's a pack of kids. They're up to something. They're going somewhere. They're no, that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, back in my day, now listen to me, back in my day, when the street light came on, we know what time it was. It's time to go home.
Yeah, that was the deal. All
Yep.
that, and there was no phone. No, you had your
No.
number memorized to call your mom, but like, and as days went on, like, yeah, they didn't always know. No, they didn't know where you were. You didn't like, yeah, maybe you said, oh, we're doing this or that or not. They were at work or whatever they were doing. Uh, yeah, we were
When
just
my brother,
kids. Like there was about 6 or 8 of us. I mean,
when me and
yeah,
my
probably
brother
one
were,
or two tomboy girls, but we were like, we all had our bikes. We lived a few blocks from each other, and yeah, we got into so much trouble or mayhem or like that's what we were did during the day. Look for trouble. That was our thing. Even like riding across somebody's property and and getting them to like, yeah, the confrontations, like like we were just kids. We're like troublemakers. Like it wasn't like
me,
major shit, but like, oh no, we were looking for trouble and we found it a lot of times.
my brother and I
No.
used to, my brother and I used to ride our bicycles like 3 miles through the woods to get to the lake because we had a family pass that we could go to the swimming beach or whatever. And when I was like in my early 20s, I went to go try to like put mountain bike on these hills that we used to, that the trails that we used to drive through. And I don't know how I did it with my little Huffy BMX or whatever the hell it was when I was, I mean, wasn't even first grade yet. And my brother was only a year older than me. And then somehow we were just allowed to go do that.
Hey, there was this mall, Fallbrook Mall, because even though I live in Fallbrook now, back then the street up the road was called Fallbrook. And that was where the arcade was, right? And the group, our little crew, my little brother, he was still small enough. There was like a kiosk postal center in the middle of the small parking lot, right? Where you bought stamps and did whatever. You could mail your box, whatever. And I think it was like for 2 summers. It's like, oh, we really were only up at the mall every day during the summer when we were out of school. But yeah, we put my brother in the package thing. Like he fit in the weird drawer that you could put a box in, right? And then he would get inside the kiosk and basically take all the fucking change out of all the things because we needed the money to go back to the arcade.
Did
And
you ever
so
play?
all these months, me and like Mitch, Scott, our little crew, we basically were the only kids in the arcade that just had endless quarters. Like we'd have all the records on the game. We'd be there all day long because yeah, we whenever we could change, we just put my brother
Did you
through
have a
the
jean
fucking
jacket, bud?
put him through
When you were in
the
the arcade?
package thing, and then like he would somehow get back in the thing, and we'd open it up, and he'd get out, and then we'd ride over to the corner there or wherever, and split up all these quarters and dimes and shit, and yeah, we did that like almost every day. We never got caught. Like somehow, I think what happened. Oh, the whole thing like they it didn't exist anymore. Like it was just dormant. They no longer like people didn't really mail shit there anyway.
Did you have a
So
jean jacket when you were rocking the arcade?
I was like part of pinball generation. So I'm still really good at pinball. Like a few games, I'll start winning games and get on a roll
Pinball
on
wizard.
any machine. That's because when I was a kid, oh man, I played so much pinball. But during that era was the change to video game, right? Which the same arcade start. Oh, I remember it used to be one wall pinball and the other wall. And then one of the years in the change, all of a sudden it was one wall of pinball and then one wall of video games. And then over time, more video games, less pinball, right? Even to this day, like, oh, I know a few places that still maintain mainly bowling alleys and have good pinball machines. But other than that, pretty hard to find pinball machines out there anymore. Video games, they like those. They're easy to put in the pizza joint or this place or that. But hard to find a good pinball machine.
Or them cars with the wraparound view or whatever.
And I never got good
We do
at
the racing.
video games, and I was like a pinball snob where I just kept that pinball. But like at that time, I remember like everyone else like stopped playing pinball for the most part, got into video games. And yeah, I can't say I'm good at video games. I played some over the years and tried to get good at it. No, but I'm pretty, not to brag, but no, I used to go to Studio City, Coldwater, bowling alley late at night and gamble. There was like other pinball enthusiasts, and we'd bet $5 or $10 or double or nothing, and gamble on pinball. They had a bunch of good games at that place. And usually bowling alleys, I used to go in late at night and play pinball. Basically coming down off of drugs, or it wasn't really. I'd go in there all coked out and play pinball and do coke in the bathroom and play pinball till fucking 6 a.m. Even as an adult, I still love pinball. I've thought
But
about
pinball is like a big glass fucking mirror right in front of you.
well, keeping them fully maintained and having a good person that does that, and that costs money. You want it, it's like certain motorcycles. Oh, every mile you drive, you got to fucking put maintenance into it. Pinball's that way too. Like,
Are you the pinball wizard, Bud?
I like to think so. Yeah. I used to be really into having the high record on games. And,
Wasn't the pinball wizard deaf and dumb and blind or something like that?
And
Yeah.
when I was a kid, they didn't even have that as part of the software. The person running the place would write your name down on this card and stick it on the head of the machine. All the machines had the records on. And as a kid, I had a lot of records. I spent a lot of time. Ultimately, yeah, it's not like you get even a different game. You can be good at pinball, but then you got to master the game and really figure out how to get that top score. Which, yeah, I spent a lot of time chasing top scores and get frustrated. And some days I just wouldn't have it, but I keep playing. Every time, I couldn't do no wrong. And then you get really kind of finicky, like, I don't like games with bullshit flippers, or like if it isn't like fully really functioning at a high level, yeah, fuck that. And a lot of pinball games are that way. You go to the place and that all the shit.
But did you ever die on the Oregon Trail?
I played a lot of all of the games. There were some that I really liked, like even one that back then. Now to this day, if you have one of these fully restored, it's probably the most valuable pinball machine. It's called Fireball, right? And it has like the smaller flippers and this wheel in the middle, but it's from like the 60s or maybe even earlier. It was really basic and really, you really had to play good pinball to get a high score on that game. It didn't have all the fucking bonus crazy bullshit. It was just straight.
That's what the lady used to call me, Fireball.
And sometimes I think back because like, oh, I spent a lot of time on them. And some of these are like classic machines. I've gone to online and looked at businesses that sell pinball machines and looked at the list and then brought back memories like, oh yeah, that one, this one. A lot of them were whatever was current at the time. Like they were already like in cross promotion they'd use, but not all of them. Some of them were like their own thing. And some of those were some of the ones I remember from my childhood are the classic ones, even though the ones of today are so superior with all the crazy tech and all that. And compared to the early days, the early ones are like classic in a certain way. Even the art, sometimes it's, oh, the art was made by so and so who ended up being a famous artist. And there's a lot of history in pinball. As much as I love pinball, for one, last 20 years, my wife, like she had a certain decor, how she decorated houses and shit. Pinball wasn't part of it, even though I could have forced the issue and probably got into it and should have, because you invest right, especially over certain eras in pinball, oh, you're looking good. Like it's a lot of people have collections and play them, like, or they might just play them like once in a while because, oh, you want to keep them in this like pristine shape. And if they're rated at the highest, like they're restored and all this shit, they're worth a lot of money. Certain ones, a lot of them are in the junkyard already because they're not worth it. Like anything, it's like collected, and same with video games, like original, like whatever games, even though they were kind of shitty when they first came out, those have high value too. People are like nostalgic. Like I get, like they get older and they all of a sudden they have money and they remember something about their childhood and they don't care what it costs. They want it.
Yeah, I know what that's like. I want lawn darts. Can't find them though.
Yeah, I've gone on eBay and seen like weird little fucking toys and shit. Like
But I'm
even in
talking
my
about
childhood, I like original Gumby. And then what was the pony? There was a pony and Gumby, right? And no, they
yeah.
still sell them, but no, the original one was like made. Some of those things were like they used different materials, probably toxic ones and shit, but we didn't know
I
any
want
better.
those. Yeah.
And Hot Wheels, the original Hot Wheels track.
Well, yeah, they were made with lead.
I know
Paint.
some people are really into trains, and that's like a whole obsession and collectible thing, and working on them. And
The Virgin.
I had RC car like when I was only a kid. My dad helped me maintain it, but it was 1/8 scale,
Hey.
associated
Whoa,
100.
hold the phone. Motherfucker, are they original? What? Yo, you got lawn darts.
Yeah. Yeah, certain things are
I've
like
got one lawn dart
I'm
and
not a collectible type of guy,
3
but
partials. This one's still got all the spins at least. And these two.
I never
need the
had
bin.
yo-yos around, but I grew up where yo-yos was a thing too when you were a kid. And people got pretty good at that. And there was like all kinds of different yo. When you got better at it, you needed better. Yo-yos. I don't even see yo-yos around anymore.
I miss horseshoes and bocce ball. I haven't played either one in years.
You go to old folks' homes, like senior citizen places, they always have fucking horseshoe shit going on. They love horseshoe.
Mrs. D's family is a big gaming family, like board games, like old games, but they also play like at her one sister. She has horseshoes actually, pits.
Cornhole.
Yeah, yeah, that's your. I heard that's your favorite game. Let's go
Yeah,
back to
a lot
the
of those,
office boys and cornhole us a drunk.
a
You
lot
we
of
use your
those games
we
are
use
get
your mom as the
like
cornhole
a lot of
target.
times. The times I've been around horseshoes, it's because yeah, I was at somebody's house and they're fucking beer drinking. They drink every night and they're friends and they play horseshoes drunk, right? Or they play cornhole drunk. Like a lot
Yeah.
of things are associated with drinking and for adults. You know what I mean?
There's that version of what is it? Where you got the balls that are it's like two balls that are connected by a string, and you throw them on like the little ladder thing, kind of like horseshoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. D's other sister, actually same sister at the college has washers. To play
Well, I
when they
agree
go
with
up.
you. Like all these toys that ended up being banned
Yeah,
were like
all the fun
introduced to
stuff.
my generation. Like I forget how young we were, but what were they called? Knickknacks or like they were this two balls on a string that you go like,
Quick crackers, yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah,
Crackers.
and, but then I get it. All a lot of things could be used wrong. I don't know why certain things. I mean, obviously with the long dart, but there were a lot of other toys that
That will stick.
they decided, oh no, that's too dangerous.
I wonder if anyone's ever been killed by a slinky.
Slinkies.
Probably. Wasn't
Well,
there a
actually, what
horror
fucked
movie?
up a lot of the toys was that one idiot did something, and then
Uh-oh.
their parents sued the company, and because of that lawsuit, oh, that's the end of lawn darts. That's the end of, a lot of it all starts with a lawsuit. I get it.
Didn't he scrap
Something
his
happened, you want to sue, but the idea of the suits have made it that that's why we don't have anything cool anymore.
Yeah.
Because you'll get sued.
Didn't they have a horror movie where someone got killed by a slinky? They like choked him out,
I don't
killed
know,
him
but
or
I can
something.
imagine one right now, like just like with its own, mind of its own. It's like it'd climb up the wall and fucking you can see it
Well,
attacking
I
people.
don't really remember the names. It's been some years. There was like some documentary I watched, and it went like it was going over the guys that own certain companies. And there's this one guy that, shit, I can't really remember any, like, that owns
Milton
this
Bradley.
toy company and stuff that pretty much is responsible for a lot of the things that end up being banned. And he was always like rogue toy guy against the rest of the toy, Mattel and, the bigger thing. And took these, like, oh, but a lot of the things he did, he was a great entrepreneur because he took something that only whatever and penetrated the zeitgeist, right? Like even though some of his stuff got banned or it was controversial, it was like a documentary about this guy, and he was like a entrepreneur from the 40s and all the toy guys. That was like a thing, like a get rich thing at a certain era in our country. You become in the toy game, and if you come up with the right thing, bam, you're instant millionaire, or it's made a lot of people rich. Back when it was like independent, now it's, a whole different game. But yeah, it was a documentary about like that, the history of all these toy guys. And there's some characters.
All the fun toys. All right. Hmm.
Da da da.
All right. Let's see what I got going on.
Running up 10 months. Strawberry nugget. Cool, Hillbilly Herb. Cheers, everybody that's stuck in the chat when we weren't looking. Hillbilly Herb, Penny Pebbler, Penny Pebbler Rippler, Pebbler, Pebble Rippler, Rippers. Anyway, Doctor Leave Me Alone, Stony. Let's see. A couple more people. Cake. Were you here before? I don't know. Jess and Bean. Yeah, Doctor Leave Me Alone. Cheers, everybody.
Are your lights on, Jess and Bean?
Beanstalk.
Just wondering.
Is your refrigerator running? You better go get it. And of course, cheers to all the lurkers in the background. Why is this like the default view? There we go. Now the chat's missing. Now the chat's missing. I don't know what the hell happened. Oh, there it is.
You gotta swipe it.
The one ended up down below underneath the trigger window. The show.
Did you try turning off your computer and turning it back on again?
But I know Control Delete twice works. Control Delete twice works pretty good.
I hear if you cough and fart at the same time, you take a screenshot. There's a sneezing.
Hmm. Getting on. Coffee time again. God.
Bop. Doop dop ba doo up. I think I sung that a little too.
There we go. Just kidding, Ryan. Hardcore.
What if you mute me? Who will talk?
What's that?
Did Bud just fall into a straw on the ground? That didn't come out right. I imagine a hazardous straw in the ground that was like a manhole. Alice in Wonderland type shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, D.
I'm a manhole.
As is normally the case.
He loves the man. Harper loves the manholes.
Your mind's got manholes on it. the hell's going on?
Manholes on the line.
Manholes on the mind. Well, I was thinking more of like a wormhole because it was like just a straw size, you know, so it'd be like a wormhole, but one that a man could magically travel through. Yeah, you know, you need a piece of toast or something to do that. I think Alice had to eat like a pillow before every time though, before she fucking. Yeah. There's got to be something like to yeah.
Oh, this boxer.
Plan B. The plan.
Whoops.
Freaking fully exhausted. Callie woke me up at 3 o'clock. I've been up since then. So, yeah.
Oh. Right on. Time for a coffee. Hi, Mooey. What's your buddy? Aha! I found you.
Cheers
Hi,
on the
buddy.
20.
All right, on. Cheers, everybody. So not 20 yet.
Psych. Oh, that was burned. I burned you.
Already bought me. He got me good. What are you doing? Where you
Figured
going?
out. Disfigured out.
What you doing, little buddy? Away. Right on.
Triclone. Is Smash party the night away or what? I haven't checked to see if he's a.
Hey? Yeah, right on, bud.
It's tonight the night of Smash big party that he was having or whatever.
Yeah.
Right on.
I think it is this weekend. It would be cool if he.
I don't know. I saw some night at the Roxbury looking shit before I hopped on D's show there. You're bouncing around to some.
Yeah. I heard.
It was too intense for me. I couldn't hang.
Oh, I wonder if that was what's his Randy Family Farms.
Yeah, I think he was going to be the DJ.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was, Miranda.
Oh, that was on it there.
I just saw fist pumping and strobe lights, and I almost had a seizure.
With tomato juice and vodka, right?
You're thinking Caesar salad.
Or Caesar salad, yeah. Or the
And what's
drink.
the other? What's the other salad that name? It was the hotel. Fucking.
The Christian guy.
Figured Uti.
Hi, Mooey. Boy. What a good boy you are.
That's 20. It's going to be my last smoke, so I gotta freaking make it worth it.
Right on.
Been on my feet since 3 in the morning. I gotta.
Holy shit, dude.
Trying to re-veg this one, and yeah, I don't think so. It's like all that was left was like a few buds, even though it's rooted and alive. I don't know if it's gonna like re-veg. It's only been maybe 3 weeks. This is in the bedroom, but yeah, like it was already at harvest, and
That looks like a Charlie's Brown
otherwise
fucking
I
Hanukkah.
lose that strain. I mean, I could get it back if I wanted to. I think it's cookies and cream,
Ooh. Nice.
and yeah, when I went through them all, I don't know. Even the first time it grew pretty good, and then this is like the third time we took cuts, but we didn't. In the end, we did when we made the cut of what we were keeping. That wasn't in it. But then when it finished the last time, we were like, "Fuck, we got to keep this one." So we're trying to re-veg it. Now, can you hear the mariachi music in the background? There's a party in the neighborhood. It's a live band. It should be muted. Well, I can hear it, so you can probably hear it. On the other side of the tracks, it's this neighborhood. It's definitely like there's there's multiple parties going on, whether it's DJ or live. And even though it's across the tracks and it's over there, I could hear raging people. That's a Latino neighborhood, but yeah, they like to party in that neighborhood. Most every weekend there's a party at one of the houses. And usually they go to 1 or 2 in the morning, and
We're gonna streak. We're going to the quad. You coming?
I've been tempted. It's like I can hear it. Oh, it sounds like it's 50, 100 people or whatever, like walking over there and checking it out because the music's good or it sounds like they're having fun. But yeah, I'm a gringo. I have no business going over to the neighborhood, walk up on some party. Maybe.
You gotta get a shaved ice
I'll
cart.
bring a bunch of weed and be like, yeah, hey. But there's no
Hey.
guarantee it'll go like that. Basically, like, what's this white boy doing here?
Nah. Look at that gringo. Boy devil.
But probably not. Like, actually, you'd probably have a great time, meet a bunch of cool people, smoke some weed. Fucking, who knows? It wouldn't be any.
Cheers for real this time.
But
It is the 20.
I don't have the balls to just go walk up on a party. I don't know anybody.
Cheers for the 20.
We have people behind us that party especially when the kids are at school, they party every day till like around 2 o'clock, and they get shut down. But they're loud.
Well, why? Because we're fighting
it's
for
really
rights. Like, I believe, we need to fight for our right to party. Isn't that a fucking song from like some rock?
The Beastie Boys.
Right. Who did that song?
The Beastie Boys.
Well, that fight's still, we're losing that fight because in a lot of neighborhoods, oh no. Oh, and like, oh, they'll tell you 10:30 or, oh, you got to bring the noise down to this or like, uh,
Definitely.
that's what I like about this neighborhood over here. Oh no. Like if you were going to buy a house in that neighborhood, if the real estate didn't agent didn't tell you, oh yeah, they like to party over in this neighborhood, that would be a selling point. But to a lot of people, maybe not. Hey, I live in SoCal, so a lot of Latino neighborhoods. They seem to know how to party. That's all. I love to party, and like I've been drawn to like, oh,
That's right, I think.
they know how to party. There's probably some beach surfer fucking punk rock band playing over there by the coast. That party won't be as cool as the Latino party, guaranteed.
See, that's right, essay.
They got
Latino
better
local.
food. They definitely got better drugs.
Don't you know I'm local?
Green Fingers knows what I'm talking about.
He would have been there.
Well,
Wow,
SoCal's like it has its demographics and yeah, there's a lot of Chicano Mexican Americans. They're not illegals or anything like that. They're full Americans, generations of Americans. But there's the proportion of them probably in not just Arizona's the same, parts of Texas, the southern states, especially SoCal. Yeah, there's a lot of Latino neighborhoods.
Yeah, the whole Coachella Valley where I used to live. When I went to second grade, I was one of the only English speaking kids in my class. I was like, man, I did try to teach us Spanish, second grade with Spanish class.
And what I've
I never
noticed in the last
had a
like
weekend.
generation here in
I didn't like
SoCal is a lot of that culture is doing pretty well because a lot of that those neighborhoods that they bought their houses so many years ago were valued like pretty low, like really low. And yeah, even when you drive through the neighborhood, you realize, oh, they all got solar and they added on and they did because their property values, like that's ultimately wealth, right? Is having equity in your property. That's a good way to in SoCal, that's how a lot of people have done. Yeah, not all of them have done so well, but certain ones that bought certain properties, certain period. Oh, they're sitting pretty. Like, they became millionaires just over that, right? Or a millionaire. They bought a house for 175 that's now valued at 875. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how my
And that
grandma.
gives them economic stability and not saying they don't work and support all that, but like I've noticed in the Southern California, a lot of the middle class of the whites that I grew up when we were the predominant, like had the money and were the big consumer and all that. Oh, that's changed. Like I noticed, yeah, where a lot of the upgrades on houses and the neighborhoods are really turning around. Are in what you call what used to be the lower end of town, but now that's the prime area, especially when people fix them up and everything. Where they call that regenification or whatever. That's some of it because a lot of that oh, it does get sold, and it's being like, yeah, it's now becoming like some neighborhoods that were low income or low price properties are now the most valued area because it's closer to downtown than the house way out in wherever you have to drive 2 hours to get to work. So the people want to live back closer to the downtown, or not necessarily downtown, but in the city more because that's where the jobs are. A lot of them. Yeah, that changed the dynamic of like first it was like move to Lancaster or move to wherever, and oh, so what? I have to drive so many hours to get to work. I can afford the house way out here. Now that's turned around now.
In downtown.
Where the fuck did that go?
Like there's this community, Palmdale, Lancaster, that's God, it's a couple hour drive without traffic from LA. But it was like houses were cheap and a lot of people like, oh, that was like a thing. They're like, yeah, we can afford to move here. Now those kind of places, like no one wants to drive 2 hours to fucking go to a job. That most days is more like 3.5 hours because of traffic. Yeah, fuck that.
Ooh, time for some Dairy Queen.
My county has a stoplight.
Well, there's not too many places like that around.
Right on.
In
The thing I see
downtown.
around here that I think are stupid, and I can't even imagine what they spend, but like where there's been like normal four-way stops, like it started where in some new built areas they didn't do four-way stops, they did roundabout things. Now there's these projects where places have like, yeah, they come to a four-way stop and they tear it all out and then make a roundabout thing.
Yep.
And I
They
guess
did that here.
yeah, I could see if you were building fresh, you should have put roundabouts from the gate. But like, can you imagine how much money? Like, oh, they can spend money on these stupid roundabouts, but then there's like giant potholes on all the streets. Like, wait,
Round and round.
like,
I think
why-
that my city would explode if they tried to. We have 2 roundabouts in town actually now. They put them in like 2 years ago. But I think people would explode if they had a 2-lane roundabout or like a 6-lane one, like they have in fucking in London or whatever.
We have a
like
two
in
lane
Europe,
stuff
they,
in
they,
during the
they
Coachella
use
Fest.
roundabouts like commonly. Where when we built here, we went to four-way stops more common, which yeah, I mean
Didn't Clark Griswold get stuck in the middle of that thing or something like that?
they're and
City I was born in
like
has
the
like
ones
5 or
that are
6 of
real
them now.
popular or the ones that they first were put in are down at the coast in Encinitas and Del Mar. And after a few months, you can always see, oh, that had to have been a drunk driver or a drunk driver because even though they build it, that there's like people like
If you
somehow
build it, they will come.
are fucked up and they drive like right into the island of the thing, right? Like I just assume it's a drunk driver situation because that's what it looks like.
A lot of ours have little hills too in that island, and like you'll see where someone will fucking get, like you'll see
Yeah,
the marks in the ditch, and like they got some air. Or
I've
a
seen
truck
the
trailer
coolest-
somehow get a trailer all the way up around there and wrap it all around.
I've seen the coolest crosswalk. It's in BC, and they have by the crosswalk. They have a shelf full of bricks. You're supposed to pick up a brick, wait for the watch, hold it in the air like this, like you're gonna, and then you wait for the cars to stop. You watch,
Yeah, I
but you
saw that.
watch, yeah, so they stop, or they're gonna get a brick in the window. That's a good idea. Anyways, I like that idea. Better call Saul. Yo, Billy. What's everybody smoking on in chat and in panel? I'm gonna be smoking
I
Dairy
don't know.
Queen.
I imagine it's some type of cookies variant.
Right on.
Tastes like corporate greed.
Cookies is awesome.
I don't know. The guy or the kid that I go through,
Oh,
they always get like he buys fake cookies. What do you call them? The fucking baggies, the fucking Mylars. He buys like bulk bags of just the Mylars so he can fucking
hmm.
sell his eighths and quarters.
You know what I realized? That in some of
That's
those
fake.
situations, the person that's doing that, like using some brand Mylar to sell their stuff, only promotes that fucked up brand because they're actually selling better weed. It might not be grown in the cookie facility or whatever, but some of it might be better weed than the shit that Cookie sells. So it actually like, yeah, people don't give a fuck like what if they bought something that they think is cookies and it's good. Well, then that only helps the cookie brand.
It's kind of weird. Like it'll always have that fucking stank right off the bat. Like when I first grab it, get the bit, and I think a lot of it's probably just because you get super attuned to that smell, or like like if I've been out of weed for a day or two, fucking, I don't know. But like it'll always seem just super fucking strong at first, and then that goes away like fucking after the fucking first gram or two.
I went to
I
my
don't know.
buddy. I went to my buddy the other day, and he told me a half quarter. That's all I wanted, and it was garlic. Oh, what the fuck was it now? It was garlic something, and it was stinky all the way home. As soon as I got in the car, Mrs. D was like, "You got another bag or something you can put that in?" It reeked, which was awesome, and it was a really good bud. I can't remember the name of it now. Garlic something.
I'm imagining licking a garfish right now.
Well, I
Gotta
mean,
let
the
you know
truth
that.
is, there's a bad element of black market weed, mainly the
Sherbet.
organized cartel type grows and
I like sherbet.
new operations. But overall, oh, black market weed has the legal market weed beat hands down. Like a lot of the legal market people, they like to make it seem like the black market's this big crapshoot. And
Yeah, but I
Hey,
can't buy my seventh yacht with
they
your.
put out a lot of scare type
oh,
things, or like an overall narrative of like the worst side of it. But that's not really how it is. Like most of the black market is, it always has been who you know. And oh, like, yeah, now I get it that there's a market outside of all that, and the people that don't know the grower and just buy the stuff and have to have some faith in whoever produced it and what they used to produce it. But I always like being a black market person. Sometimes the content online, I see the people in the legal market like to paint this picture of like the black market is like this, all the negatives that they could say about it. Like, you know, but I think that
Mhm.
most people still get their weed that way. Like things that have been established for decade after, you don't just wipe out with a change of the law.
I got to pay
No.
$10 a gram today.
No, I mean, they can't quantify it like they can the legal market, but they have their estimates. I think their estimate around the legal market is small compared to the black market. Most of the weed smoked on a daily basis in California comes out of the traditional market. That's just what I think. For whatever amount that they estimate is in the legal data, 10x that, and that's the traditional.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting rowdy at the bar.
If I know, like, if I think about between all the little consumers and then the different growers and my network of maybe 20 friends and associates, not a single one of them has anything to do with legal market. Two of them have probably almost 10 years under their belt running pretty big delivery businesses that would seem to be legit at this point, but no, they're just doing it. They don't have no, they're not licensed.
Here's Southern Vermont.
They're successful as fuck, but they work hard at building up their thing over the years, servicing it. You know, you put good effort in, you get good results. That's the way it goes.
I remember what it was. It was garlic sherbet. That's fire.
Garlic ice cream sounds like ass, though. I don't know, maybe it is good.
That's weird how certain strains that were so prevalent for a period of time just drop off like ice cream cake.
That's
Like
a
I
good
grew
one. I
up
like
on
that.
ice cream cake for a long time, a pretty good while. And at that time, oh, a bunch of people grew ice cream cake. I'm sure there's still some couple people hold on to it, but it pretty much dropped off. Got replaced with the newer hype strain of today. It's weird how that is. Because ice cream cake was killer, just like how it was. I grew some crosses of it too over the years. A lot of times I'm the one that would be like, yeah, I like a lot of crosses don't do it for me as much as the original. Right? Sometimes the original was perfect just the way it was. And the right cut of ice cream cake, yeah, that was like, I don't even know why we stopped growing it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like ice cream cake.
But you
Up
know, to
there.
pursue other strains, you have to let certain ones go. That's just the way it is
Yeah.
at whatever scale. I mean, some people have a different scales and all that, especially breeders, because they have a different goal. So having a library that's you just hold forever is more important. But as a grower, yeah, you just roll with the changes. And ultimately, things like, yeah, you replace one thing because it was better than the other thing. Like that's usually what happens. Now you reminisce about those things after so many years, but if you really remember why you kept this and let that go, and then there was logic in it.
Check, 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 check. Mike, check, check.
Yeah, right here, waiting on you.
Uh,
I wonder where the captain's at tonight. Somewhere in
looking for
Michigan.
looking for Thai women in the fucking back roads, Ohio or Michigan.
Yeah, there's probably a few there.
Yeah. Usually, I'm fucking drawing blanks tonight.
You're drawing blanks tonight. What have you been smoking then?
I snort my drugs. No, oh shit. I gotta have a cup of coffee here quick too.
Oh shit, I just made one. I gotta get it.
Well, I don't drink coffee. No, I drink coffee in the winter sometimes. Even though I put like 50% milk and 50% of that is sugar.
What? Did you ask me a question?
No, I'm just saying how girly of coffee I drink. Like if I were to have like a 2 liter thing of coffee, I would have like 3 cups of sugar in it, maybe 4.
Yeah, I've I've backed off and started to like just more of the coffee taste.
Or I'll
But it
I'll drink
depends,
fucking
it depends on the coffee. Like sometimes darker coffees, I want more cream and more sugar.
I'll drink cream right out of the fucking container, man. Some amaretto, fucking, I glug that shit. Is it Floor Nugs?
Hopefully, it's
That's
somebody that wants to talk. 'Cause I've
that's right.
talked.
I was drawing a blank just a second ago. He's been coming on lately. Keep thinking Bob Marley is moving. There's like
You must be smoking good shit then.
you got to
You see
smoke
Bob.
2 joints though. Really, you got to start your morning with 2 joints. I mean,
I don't
it's been
see
a while since
nobody
I.
else. Nobody else sees Bob Marley moving. It's you.
No, I see him moving.
I'm
There's like
so.
there must be a fan on it,
Yeah.
but it does look animated. Like just a little bit of movement with the fan is
I'm
I
pretty.
just
just
kidding.
he just when he just like I just saw his hands like Greenfinger's hands are right below his head. It looked like he was like I said. Yeah, time for the doctor.
The one thing that is like been a constant that I could gauge time from are like basically 60-day cycle, right? The cycle, right? And in the last so many years, maybe 5 years, for so long, like I can remember my first cycle, and that seemed like it took forever, right? I remember counting each day, week, our whole life depended on it, right? Now they just go so fast that I'm like, what? That one's already done, and the next one's already half done. Like it's time is going faster because like for so long those cycles were what they were, and you just had to wait them out. And
Time keeps on slipping.
and now I don't know if it's just my perception of reality or anyone else is in the same space, but yeah, that's how I can like gauge. Oh yeah, I'm always thinking that in the last so many years. Like fuck, it's already done. It's already done. It's already done. It's crazy. Because I remember having to wait, and it was
It's like with
always
all my friends and
oh
their
another
kids that are
couple of weeks.
graduating.
No, it's not. It takes what it takes, right? But more like 70-day cycles. It's easier to look at them as 60s because it's 2 months, but it's longer than that, depending. But yeah, they go by quick.
Hopefully my internet doesn't drop out again. That was weird.
Well, there's glitches in the internet and service. It happens. Happens
Yeah.
a lot less now than ever before. I can remember where the shit would just drop out for half hour or whenever. It wasn't as near as stable as it is now or reliable.
Yeah.
But it does have glitches and shit. When you really think of how many people are connected and how big it is, and the fact that it
That's what
works
she said.
so well, that's pretty. We never give it credit for that because it works pretty damn good overall. There's problems, and certain providers in certain areas have more problems than others.
Mm. Hey, John. Yeah, man.
Can we smoke another new rocket?
Yeah, what kind would you like?
What kind? What kind make you more tired?
I have no idea. None of the above.
Well, no, like they.
It's a moon rocket.
No, I'm probably gonna go to bed after. Either, I guess either peanut butter or
Okay, peanut butter is good. Like peanut butter. Peanut butter crumble. Let me see if I can find it. Shit.
Gelato Kush nuts.
What's that, green fingers?
Oh, gelato Kush nuts.
Nice. Fresh mints is good. Gelatos is good too.
Yeah.
I like Kush mints.
Pretty good for right now. Getting ready for bed, so it's all flavor and all flavor. It's like all flavor. But I'm like high now, ready for bed.
Right on.
Lasted longer than I thought I'd go. 30 to 55. Shit. I was only gonna go to the 20.
Mm-hmm. What's it worth for? Kind of smoke a moon rocket. Smithers, I got a rock in my pocket. Yes, I know, sir. A little Simpson thing for you there, folks. Mm-hmm. Uh,
So, furthermore.
J5, oh, he's not there. I'll ask when he comes back. J5. Well, it looks like this might be last call. We'll see.
So, jump on.
Yeah. It seems like there's not a lot to be said tonight.
Well,
I'm
I was
happy to
up.
say-
I was up really early today as well. Not like green fingers over there, but for salt
Well,
and sea.
I got to lay back down and relax. I just didn't get to go fully back to bed like I wanted to because we kept hearing the yipping, and this little baby coyote is just like bored, wants to bite people.
I got up at 8:45 for the X Games, and I napped a couple like events, not during skating shit, but the BMX shit puts me to sleep, but they were some grad shit went down today, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Best Trick, Vert, and yeah, they're still like progressing, man. It's crazy. Like it's like there was Tony Hawk like breaking down like in slow motion, whatever these moves are. Like when you see it happen, you're like, "Oh, something happened there." But then when they slow it down, you realize, holy shit, dude, the guy like I think they're doing things like kick flips into 900s, okay? Not just a 900, no. Do a kick flip in the middle of it and then still do the 900. I was like, oh, fuck, these guys are crazy. And they biff a lot. They biff a lot. And I've been at Ventura Fairground for events a lot. I know that place. Yeah, right between like 5 and 7 or 8. It gets windy as fuck there. It's right on the beach, and it's just part of the climate. And then around 7:38 gets calm. Right, it's just part of the beach thing. And yeah, all this vert shit the last 2 nights happened during the windiest shit ever. They showed the wind, and these guys were yeah, why they biffed a lot was because doing some of the shit they were trying to do and then have the wind fuck with them. That they couldn't compensate for that shit. So, which like yeah, if you know anything about Ventura, you wouldn't schedule like a lot of the other events. It doesn't give a fuck if it's a little windy. But oh no, when you're in that vert that's right there, right in the midst of the wind, yeah, and so it kind of fucked that up. But they should have known that and like scheduled it later or earlier.
No, there's J5 there. But J5 in the chat box asks, what hash were you smoking?
Some bubble that now I haven't smoked his yet. They're sitting right in front of me. But yeah, I have a jar that I keep little bits of things in, and there's some bubble that yeah, this freezer that we couldn't find the key for. We figured out this way with a screwdriver to open it. And as much as we didn't know what was in it, like what they thought was in it wasn't in it. But what was in it is a couple patties of like bubble that never got pressed, but it's fucking good. It's been in
Nice.
there.
Right on.
I think it's been in there for like 3 years or so.
Well, at least it wasn't like a dead body or something.
No, it's a small freezer.
Oh, okay.
They thought there was going to be liters of distillate that they thought they stored there, but no, I don't. There was no distillate in there. We realize
Crazy.
now that it was pretty stupid because we have another freezer and stuff, right? Um, even though this is a small one, like if we kept that thing on for so long, it probably was like more value in the power than it was for the ounces, and maybe it's a QP of bubble. Yeah, that's not worth that much when you press it or whatever. The power was probably almost as much keeping the freezer on.
Yeah. Well, it's cool find though.
Thing is, it's not marked, and yeah, we weren't growing the strains we're growing now. So then that, like, oh, is it Don Mega? We were growing Don Mega back then. We were growing even one of the jars I have of sauce and diamonds, but it's really good, is from Mendo Breath. When we just grew Mendo Breath.
Right on.
And I try not to smoke butane shit. Like I did way back in the beginning and still make it sometimes and have access, but rosin is just so much better. It's whether I go through all the hassle to make it or I get some from somebody. Yeah, there's no question that smoking solventless is better. Better for your health, better for the quality.
That's my favorite.
Even though I have a couple of those bubble washing machines and all the stuff, I don't want to that's a lot of work. You got to freeze it, and then you got to and then I'd rather just buy some from somebody or trade them or like that than to do that much work.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to get ice and da 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 da. You gotta have good quality ice. There's a lot to making like quality.
No, I know. I agree.
The project. Sometimes you get into it. Like 2 years ago, that's where we have all that stuff. We were into it. And then now I look at it and go, yeah, that I don't feel like doing all that. Do you feel like doing all that? No. All right.
Yeah. Let's call somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. J5 says Mendo breath everything. Right on J5.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think Zoom updated again. The shit's all changed. The
Yeah.
bottom.
Well, you probably figure that all tech things are always under upgrade and will improve. That seems what's happening, right? There used to be updates sketchy. Sometimes I guess they still could be. I remember one time I had to reset my whole fucking phone. That's why when they send me the phone update, I usually wait a day or two because it was a few years ago. They admitted, yeah, oh, yeah, sorry. But
Yeah.
that was the consequence of this. Like, they fixed it. And, oh, but if you updated it right away, oh, you got the bad one and it fucked up your phone. Okay, that happened. On AT&T, like, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Ooh.
So now I'm like still a little gun shy over it, but it seems that less of that happens. But that used to happen.
I can't. My phone needs to do an update. I don't have enough memory to do it now. It's crazy. And I went through everything and deleted everything I had to. It won't be enough. It's crazy. Crazy shit. Alright, let's turn that
Well,
off.
there are limitations to the whole thing, you know.
Mm,
Well, wait, if you shut down and delete a bunch of other stuff, it, even the basic device should have enough to update itself, right? I mean,
yeah.
especially when like ultimately the operating system's the main software of the device. Like I have a feeling in the future when AI gets introduced, like they already are starting to sell phones. They say are AI, right? This latest Samsung, whatever. I mean, I don't know what it really means, but um, in the ad that they ran during X Games that showed it, you could take a picture of like you doing a trick, and then you could make it that you were higher in the air, or you could do different things. And they were like, basically, they were showing these two actors, skate actors, that you could do a deep fake video and it looked real. I was like, yeah, is that the selling point? That you could doctor the picture to make it look like you did something you didn't do and it would look real? Like, wow, is that what we come to? But that's what that ad basically was, right? Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, Samsung S24 something AI or whatever. Like, I have no idea what the AI on the phone really does. But at a certain point, though, operating systems will have like AI capabilities where, like, oh yeah, it'll just shut everything else off for its own survival, which is its update, right?
Mhm.
And remove shit from your phone automatically because that's its survival.
Oh, shit.
Or
Fake
who
force.
knows what all those updates are. They seem to be less of them, but I remember at a time like there'd just be one update after another, like operating system updates. Like I remember some of
Yeah.
it being security, right? Now it seems less of that, but I have no idea at this point what they're doing. They're up to something. I think they have access to your device whether you say yes or no. Like they're they're in your operating system outside of the update. Like the system already works that way. Like, oh, you agreed to that, didn't you? In the fine print of of the agreement that you checked on, like basically gave them access to do whatever the fuck they want.
Mhm.
Windows, Google, like those main,
Well,
whatever you want to call them, the operating system or
Mhm.
the main culprit of the tech invasion on your privacy. Like, I don't really give a fuck about, like, I think, well, great. Now you have like billions of people's data. What do? You sort through it to try to sell them shit? Is that oh, oh, I know they do more than that with it. And that's fucked up, but oh well. It's not like you can have any of these things without agreeing to like basically letting them like mine your data that it's created on your devices at this point because oh now the phone knows all the other devices in your house you use and your TV and your this and your like it's pretty crazy.
yeah, sure.
where you go, what shopping center you were in. They said you think, oh, could you rate your experience at wherever? I didn't even go there. I went to a store or a restaurant in that same complex, but they just assume you went to this place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is weird how they do all that shit.
Yeah. Big push, Christoph.
I look at it as like if I was young when I was young, oh, all this would be an issue because it's like my whole life would be faced with those consequences of it. But now that I'm old, I'm like, yeah, sorry for the rest, like the future, which looks like it's going to be pretty fucking weird. Like I just listened to crazy IA interview shit where, and this guy has predicted it in '99. He wrote a book and said in 2029, that was 30 years in fact, human and humankind are going to merge with what he called the cloud, which is basically what is now IA or whatever, and be like one, interact like one. And he's given this interview where he's asked, "Oh, are we on target for that?" He says, "Oh yeah, we're ahead of schedule." Right? I forget this guy's name. He's like ahead of Google's whatever. Oh, he's a fucking brainiac. Like he does. He's in it. He's part of this whole thing. But when you listen to him, you're like, wow. So what does that mean? Oh, that was the other question. Like, what does that mean? Right? And even that's like kind of vague, right? Like, yeah, I'm not so sure. Is that what we want, that over natural or nature or real life? I don't know. That seems like that seems like a bad sci-fi movie from like the 60s and 70s shit that I grew up where they'd have these sci-fi movies that were like what ifs of the future, right? I forget some of their names, man, right? Logan's Run or no. There was this one weird one where yeah, people had this weird thing on their palm. It had to be at night everybody became a zombie or some shit. These one people had like the fortress from hell and would go out and hunt them and shit. Like I guess a zombie apocalypse type shit. Uh, all that seemed like just some fantasy of sci-fi movie. But like we're getting some of the craziest shit that was so abstract and low budget movies of that era is actually coming true. Like I'm like, yeah, that's that same story. That weird fucking movie that was low budget from like 1970, bad actors and effects, but it was the same root sitch. Yeah, it's weird how movies predict the future. And one of the wow, did you hear that?
What was that?
Like an explosion that
Hmm.
I couldn't imagine it being that close to me, but it sounded like it was.
Could have been fireworks?
But it could be across the tracks way over there. But if it was there, I don't think I felt that. Like in a minute, I'm gonna go outside and see what the fuck.
Yeah, man.
Because if I didn't know any, oh, now I hear more of them. Well, you know that party.
It's the Latino.
I
it's a week before the 4th of July. There's no question in my mind, even when I went out there earlier, that they're not at some point going to let off fireworks. We could go out there right now and be privy to like a whole show. Last week they were doing it, and then the helicopter came, and then they stopped, and then the helicopter left, and they started again.
Right on. That's funny.
Oh, the music's still going.
Right on.
You know how people get toward, well, you're in Canada, so you might not, but like the closer you get to 4th of July, people just start getting more like, oh, they antsy basically. It's like Christmas. Oh, they open the present early. Like, they got these fireworks for the 4th or whatever, but oh, this seems like a good night. Let's blow some up.
Yeah.
And there's people that are selling them. The best way to find customers is blow off a few.
Yeah.
Because I imagine you can't smuggle them in from the border legally, but the amount of them that are here, maybe you can't because, yeah, in the last month or so, there's a lot of fireworks that are available on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume,
Well,
even though I don't know if they make them in Mexico or if they come from China. I don't know where most of them come from, but that's a point of entry.
Wasaga Beach. Apparently. Whenever my cousin when he was younger, whenever my cousin went down to Wasaga Beach, they go every year. And then he come back, he smuggled like a whole shitload of fireworks back
Well,
over
when I
the
was a
border.
kid, the first times I went to Mexico, you could buy those strings of like firecrackers, like they were like you could light one and like 1,000 go off. Depends how big your string is.
Yeah, flat.
And like those basic fireworks. Oh, you can get those in Tijuana, like right on the street.
Yeah,
Like
black
there were
hat.
street vendors that sold. What are those things that you put candy in and then hit them? A pinata. Like, oh, there was all this like weird, junky, touristy stuff all the way. Like the first times you crossed the border, when you were in line to get to the thing, there were vendors walking around like it was like a circus selling like every cockamamie thing you could think of. Right, the last second you could buy, and you could buy fire like crackers. It didn't matter. Like, oh, could you get them through? People didn't care. And a lot of times they don't search everybody. They only search like select people, and yeah, things always come through from there, like weird shit.
Do they still have that? The people walking around like that?
I used to, and I get them as a kid. They were like called Mexican jumping beans, and there'd be these like beans that would be like alive because there was like a worm inside it or some shit. There was there were these puppets, like string puppets, marionette puppets and shit. That were like so many things. At the border. Border used to be like a fun thing, like in the 70s, 80s. And then it just got more third world, more. And Tijuana's kind of a rough place at this point.
Yeah.
But it still has its charm. But you got to watch yourself there a little more.
Yeah.
I don't go down there because I'm the kind of person that finds trouble. And there's a lot of trouble down there. Like, pick your fancy. Now, if you go past Tijuana, then stay in the Baja, like Rosarita and down to Encinitas, not yeah, it's a different vibe.
Granada.
Yeah, that's like a fishing town. It's a little south, not that far, like what, but Tijuana, oh yeah, that's like the border town, I guess we'll say, or whatever. It's its own madness.
You gotta watch out for the migra.
As a kid, we'd go down there, go to highlight games, like as a kid, and bullfights and weird sports that they didn't offer that shit up here, but you go down to Tijuana, they had it. I don't know if they even still have all that, but that was like as a kid, that was like why my parents would get up. We'd get up at 5 in the morning and from LA and get down there around 9 or so, and yeah, just as a day trip, and then come home. My dad would drink and get party, and that's what they did, and we'd end up down there a lot. That Tijuana doesn't exist, like the one I remember as a kid. It's like weird because it's next to one of the richest cities in the fucking right there, San Diego. But Tijuana is like third world. Like the appearance of it, it's like holy shit, this is pretty rough here. Like especially the residents, the houses, all that shit. You can see across the border in certain places, like the Mexican hillside, the neighborhoods and stuff, and it's more like shanty house type shit than yeah.
Can you see rough stuff from your window
Which I
though?
always thought was weird because when you really get into Mexico, it's not like that. But the border that has the closest access to the richest country in the world is like it reminded me of like the worst third world place you could be. Like, and I was like, yeah, that's not by accident. Like you go from one stretch of freeway to another, and you're right in this other whole thing. It's like kind of like pretty third worldy, right? Next to like modern rich country. You'd think, oh, it'd be a little nicer here. It's no. But you go further into Mexico, it's totally different. It's like real Mexico. Tijuana's like this other thing. It's a border place. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Mexico. No, there's what was so Mr. Beast last video, he made 100 houses for people, 20 in Mexico, 20 somewhere else, 20 somewhere else. I just watched that like right before this, a few hours ago. Pretty cool. You just give them away for free houses to people.
Yeah, I mean, you can't knock Mr. Beast. I haven't seen any of his stuff for a while, but I went down that rabbit hole. I watched a bunch of stuff. First, I was just intrigued. It's like, is this real? It's real. This guy just somehow gets so much money from having so much followers. He can just give away so much money. It's a crazy formula.
If he doesn't give it away as a tax write-off, so he's got to give it away for so he's got to give it away. He's got to pay for it. Like, you got to pay the taxes or give it away. So he gives so much away.
Give it away now.
Because he has like hundreds of millions of followers or whatever. That in itself is basically worth X amount of value, like billions of dollars, right?
All the viewers, all the subscribers, all the views each day. He already had 49 million views or some shit on the last video that just came out.
And he's kind of like this. Even they showed his history a little bit. He's just this cornball, but he right. He's like an example of someone being at the right place at the right time with the basic idea thing, and it just took off. Like you couldn't recreate that, right? Like it was like,
off, eh?
you know, which, oh, so many people saw his success. Oh, hey, well,
He's a government plant.
Some people say that
PSYOP.
does seem a little weird, like the whole thing, because we're not
13
talking
hours.
about medium amounts of money. We're talking about extravagant amounts of money. I remember thinking, yeah, really? So, yeah. Hey, I watch this poker game 5 nights a week, and they always invite all kinds of weird people. He played it a few nights. He wasn't that good at poker, but he sure like had no problem with big amounts of money, right? And uh, there's clips of it because oh no, I think he might have even gotten even or won, got lucky, but he was in a super high stakes game of poker, and he was a little bit outmatched because he comes in thinking he does portray himself as being like super smart and all this shit. Poker's another whole animal. Like decades of experience matter. Yeah, he was a dude.
Well, that's it. I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys. If you guys want to keep going.
Yeah, well, it's called a night.
Yeah,
All
it's already
right.
trying. I made it.
Who wants to go first?
Me.
I'll go.
I will.
We all go first. I'll go first. All right, bud. Nice hanging out with you, D. Hardcore. Have a good night, guys. What's up?
Yeah.
And agree with this.
See you
All
later,
right.
D. See you later, bud.
Yeah.
Chat.
All right, D. We'll see you next time around. Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that.
Right on, bud.
Have a good
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah, you too, guys.